Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Third Shift. This is episode 178. I'm here with false energy and like I'm very tired, but I'm here for you. I'm the greatest man who's ever lived. It's me, Matt. Over there, it's the light bearer, Eric. He's looking off. He's saluting. He might actually have a wife on the staircase, or he might just be doing a gimmick. We're not even live on the 5.
Just a gimmick. I gotta do it. You gotta be part of the show, regardless of whether they can see me or not, Matt. It's important to play the part.
That is very true. You actually do have to do that. But I already know what the answer is going to be. But hey, buddy, we're doing it like we always do. How was your week, my good friend?
Hey, it's Taxan now. Hey, everybody,
Woo!
We're in Taxan, where we do lots of other hours and stuff, except for it's been super wacky weird at work and things haven't been going according to plan. So all of it's all up in flux. But regardless of that, it's been busy. I've still had some time to play some video games, as they call them. So I've been out there doing the Destiny. I don't know why. I just don't know. I don't know why. In fact, I was out the other night, and I was like, I'll do some strikes. Each strike was taking like 30 minutes, 35 minutes. And of course, everyone else, when we do strikes, it only takes us about 5 to 7 minutes tops. No one helped me. They just proceeded to make fun of me and laugh at how long it was taking me. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I get put with the most special of people that you can play with. I don't know what you want from me. You guys play together. Well, I don't play with nobody else. Okay, well, every time I see you on, you're playing together.
You're in a group,
so,
yeah.
It's weird that you say none of you play together when every time I see you on, you're playing together. So I don't understand what's happening. You have some kind of Jedi mind tricks you're trying to play on me or something? I don't know.
It's a false narrative right
exactly.
there. Yeah.
Like, whatever. Doesn't matter. I've also started up some Resident Evil 2 again. Mm-hmm. I was going to drop it down, and I'm going to admit it right here on the show. I was going to drop it down to easy mode. I don't ever do that. I hate playing on easy mode. But I was like, I don't have time for this. These old zombies, they're taking way too many bullets. They're hurting me way too much when they get to me. I just want to have some fun with this game. I'm not really in it to win it. I'm not trying to be the end all be all with it. I just want to have fun, beat the game, move on. I was never actually going to play it to begin with, but since it was given to me for free, I said, well, what the hell? I might as well go ahead and enjoy it since I loved the original way back in the day. Guess what? Once you start a game, you can't change the settings.
Oh.
This is an old school game where once you pick what you are what you are. So I'd have to do the first like 5-6 hours to get over again if I want to start over on easy. And I'm like, I don't know where am I losing here at?
That's
will I still gain ground if I start over and do these first 5 hours on easy, or do I just keep trudging through it normal since I'm already 5 in? I don't know. I don't know what's easier.
And the more trudges you do to see how hard it's going to get, it's the more
the
lost time
away you get
when you could have just flipped it.
Switched over. Yeah. So I've reached the point of pretty much no return.
Uh-huh.
But now my brain's like, do you really have time to do this? And now it's starting to try to just make me go away, but I don't want to because that game is fantastic.
Well, here's a question. Who'd you start with? Can you pick both?
Yeah, you can pick either Claire or Leon, and I went with Claire because that's who I went with the originals for the first time.
Well, there you go. If you do start it over again, at
just
least
do
play
Leon,
yeah.
And say to hell with it and act like the Claire doesn't exist this time. Yeah.
She got far, then she had to run away. So the next time you see her riding her bike in, it's like, oh, she's coming back for a fresh start someday.
Fresh start, no problem. No huss, no fuss.
Exactly.
So I was doing that, having a good time with it, regardless of it being a little bit more difficult than I'd like it to be. And beyond that, oh man, the video game world, I feel like I beat True Vulner mode for Borderlands 3 again.
Hooray!
Which was, hooray for me, huzzah! Did that. I went ahead and went on a farming grind. I got a whole bunch of crap from all these, weirdo rare spawns because of the Frenzy event going on right now. And I'm going to tell you right here, you got to get Norman Bates, the Cutsman. All right?
That's the one that everybody says,
I got an anointed Norman Bates Cutsman. I don't know if it's the mega roll or, the meta roll, but it's an anointed version of it. Good for me, worse for me. And that thing is a beast. It is stupid powerful. And then I've got a whole bunch of crap that, enhances flame damage, fire damage. So it just makes it even crazier. So I've been having some good times with that. I don't like the slow time for it to launch. You know, I've told you all before, I don't really like the beams, you know, the slow glooby globs, but that's what it is. But it sends them out in this big wave when it has like the arc in between. So it's a huge AoE type weapon.
Is that the one that does like the...
It does the arc, but it's fire. It's fire instead of electric damage.
So
because there's another one out there that does
like
electric.
the looking things? Or is it different from that? Okay.
Yeah, it's like two balls, and then in between is a little red like zigzag arc thing.
I think that's what one of the carriers on the Maliwan thing had then. So I keep trying to figure out what that was. Gotcha.
Yeah, there's that. The Cutsman has that, and there's some arc one. I want to say arc because it's, you know, Destiny. It's actually electric. Come on. Electric, get it right. There's an electric one that does it too, because one of the guys I was playing with, he was using one that did almost the same exact thing. It was just shooting out electric damage everywhere like that.
Okay.
So I got that, had some fun with that, and then of course, I don't know if I mentioned this one, but I also beat Metro Exodus. Finally finished it. Yep. My brother got a hold of it, and he was like, "Hey man, I got it on the super cheap. I heard, you know, I knew that you had played the hell out of it and almost beat it, but had to return it." So I loaded that game in, and sure enough, like I told you guys, I was on the very last spot. Went ahead and put about 2 hours into that, and boom, finished it. Story done. Smashed through it. It was a great ending. Great game. Man, definitely one of those gems that kind of got just lost into the dirt and grime and gravel of last year. It's too bad. If anybody likes first-person shooter, that's a little more on the difficult side, but definitely really good with the story. Metro Exodus, man. It's good stuff.
I feel like that's one of those series just as a whole that's like, it's like just underground, because everybody says how good it is, but I know literally one person who's ever played any of them. But everyone else, like, I don't know, it's like just that, if here's everything everyone's talking about, it's like, boop, just one little tier lower.
Yeah, it's strange, because that's exactly what you say. All the shows I listen to and whatnot, they all talk about it, but I don't feel like any of them ever actually played it. I feel like they're all like, yeah, that Metro, man, that's a good game. Oh, you know, people don't give it enough credit. And then they move on, and it just sits there, not played, not actually anything done with it, and it's sad. Makes me sad inside, because it's really good, and I hope they did well enough to make another one, because I would totally play it.
Well, introducing spoiler alert, everybody. The next branch off of the Third Shift Tree, it's the Metro Exodus podcast, brought to you by Eric and me. Woo! Oh yeah, here we go. We're going back to the original. We're gonna play through that and talk all about. No, we're not gonna do that. But
no, we're not doing that. No, definitely not. We got our hands full here. It's as much as we can handle. So with that being said, real life, hey, I told you guys quarter end, nothing special going on. Just marking through it, quarter end, tax end. January's just not a great month for getting things done, but we're gonna grind through it and get on the other side of February, and life will return to normal. What about you, Matt?
Other than it just being like a dumb, stupid work week, it was a good week on the video game front, because I got in 2 streams of Yakuza 4 Remastered this week. Oh, it makes me feel so good. One of them was like a 5-hour-long stream, having a blast on a day off, just sitting around like, ooh, yeah, having a great time, playing through one of my favorite games. I love Yakuza. You know it. I'm on the 4th character now. Spoiler alert. You'll see him in the next stream that I do on Friday at some point. But just having a blast with that. It's just so good. I love the ways that they individualize the 3 so far different characters. Like their different fighting styles are all totally different. They have some like basic heat moves that are the same, like the stomp or the kick, but everything else is totally unique. I don't know, just the way they feel. Like the first guy's all quick kicks and all this other flashy stuff. Second guy was big, brawling, just slow tank, lumbering, charge up your moves and be a big doofus. The third guy had like all kinds of joint locks and arm locks, and like you could build off of that. It was, oh man, it's so cool and fun. I can't wait to play more of that. Another game I can't wait to play more of is Death Stranding. I got it in another stream, a little 2-parter, and I did some amazing things on that stream. It was awesome. I am the greatest person because I can't spoil it. I bring people together. In Death Stranding, I brought people together, which is the whole point of the game. I did it. Another game that I did play is, I think over the weekend I got in a big time sink on Steins Gate, Linear Bounded Phenogram, played through, I think, 2 full more sub-stories on top of that. I've been saving one for last, and I think maybe one more will unlock at the end. So I'm almost done with that one too. And then when I was doing research for IG2G, which I'll mention here in a minute as, you know, our teamwork thing, I found an awesome game that I downloaded on Steam. I had to get it. Like, as soon as I saw it, did the research, recorded the release bit, went on Steam and I got it. I played it for like 2 hours straight, and I stayed up way too late playing it. It was Dicey Dungeons, a little roguelike deck builder with dice, and just really cool and cute graphics. I talked all about it on IG2G, so if you want to know more, check that out. But, God, it's everything I love about board games, and also it's video games. And it's just fun and crazy and good. I've been having too much fun. Like, I'm talking about it now. I just want to shut the podcast off and just go play it. Can we
just go play some games?
Just phone it in, Eric. I don't know. Just, hey, yes, that's it, everybody. Hoo-hoo.
Oh, I could do it myself. I've done it before. I could do it again.
Yeah, we both could do it.
That's right.
But I'll tough it out, because that was pretty much it for me this week. That was us individually this week. Together as a team. Hey, we did that IG2G that I talked about, episode 70. Had a good conversation, had some fun releases, and like old releases for me. Haha.
God bless.
I do what I want. It's my show. It's my show. I do what I want.
Let me tell you, I was impressed with this IG2G because what a good time I had. I was surprised. I went in going, all right, well, we'll make it work. There's got to be some games out there that come out. We can figure out some topics. We're like, we'll just go through the general topic. I had fun with the topic. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I hope to go in depth even more on some of that stuff at a later date and time. But as you know, we like to keep it a little bit shorter. Mm-hmm. So that way, we'll bring it up again. But one of the games I mentioned is a game I'm totally interested in. Okay. And I had no real idea this thing existed. It was on a lost console, and now my brain's just been sitting there, just fizzling and going on why I want this and why I should have it, and I can't have it, but I gotta figure out a way to get it somehow. So I'm coming up with all sorts of Eric plans and regimens and trying to figure out what I can do to make it work. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, go watch that show, go listen to that show, because I'm not gonna talk about it here, suckers.
Man, I want to know what you're talking about. Jeez. But I was in that same thing with 2 of my releases, because they just sat there stewing in my brain. Dicey Dungeons and the other one, which I won't spoil. I immediately went, added them to the carts, and then I got Dicey Dungeons right away. The second one, I put it in my PSN cart, and it went, hey, look at all these other recommended games. And I went, oh yeah, I've been meaning to get that one. And I also should get that one. I've been meaning to get this one too. And I sat there looking at this like $70 cart, and I went, I'm going to pull a mat, and it's just going to sit in my cart and wait. And if they're on sale and it drops down to like $30, then okay. But otherwise, I got too many games to play right now.
Dang it, man. I was going to say, you should just pull an Eric, just push the go button. Oh, it's too late to apologize.
I can't do it. I would be playing it all the time.
Oh, man. Oh, well. Well, I guess you'll just get to stare at it forever and never play it. So.
Speaking of things we stare at forever and never use, we got shift codes for Golden Keys in Borderlands 3 and Borderlands Game of the Year edition. So hit up the Twitter, the Reddit, the forums, the Instagram, hit up the website. Get yourself some free loot, damn it.
Indeed, you should go over there and get that free loot because it's so beautiful. And while you're at it, there's a bunch of more free loot. If you are a Twitch Prime member, guess what, everybody? Get on over there, because prize number 2 is available. You can get yourself the Stream Deck Echo skin and 3 more golden keys. And you know you need them. Get them now while they're hot and fresh and squirty.
I did the unthinkable, Eric.
What? What'd you do?
I went to Sanctuary and I opened up the golden key box.
Did you get a legendary?
No, I didn't. I got a bunch of shitty purples.
No, God. Did you try it on like Mayhem 4 or 5? You know, to see?
I was literally on Mayhem 4, yeah. And I went, here we go. And it opened up with that golden glow. And I went, hey, yeah. And it went, purple's for you, friend. And I went, oh, how could you do this to me, golden key chest?
God bless. Dang it, man. Oh, well, I promise you, they exist. I've gotten them, but we still have yet to actually test it and see if doing it at Mayhem 4 will get you, the high end rolls, or if there's a chance at anointed rolls. I don't know. I just know that the legendaries exist in those boxes.
And hey, since we're on the topic of loot and stuff, there's going to be no good way to shoehorn this into the show, because I totally forgot about it until we were going through the show, doing the intros and stuff. But there is a Maliwan Takedown community challenge out there as well. Oh, it's because you were talking about the Cutsman. That's why I was reminded of it. So if you go on to, I think Mental Mars tweeted out the details. It's basically what I said, a community challenge of the Maliwan run, the Maliwan Takedown. So does it have to be solo? I'm pretty sure it has to be solo. So if you can solo it, you got to do it with a couple restrictions, like some of the most badass guns, like the Cutsman, you can't use. And then you got to videotape your whole run. They got to see, like, you know, all your skills, all your items. Make sure you don't have any modded stuff. And if you do win the grand prize, I think it was a certain amount of cash and then maybe some bonuses too. But then the cash was supposed to like build up if they got any donations and stuff too. So if you're interested, if you're a badass, I mean, I tried the Maliwan run on solo, just solo on normal, and Wotan eventually just kicked my butt. So I couldn't do it. So if you can do it and record your whole run and get it in there, you might earn yourself some actual money loot. Like not even just like shiny golden keys loot, like real ass money loot.
Like real loot. Go ahead and get yourself some real gear. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Woo! You know, it's funny because they, of course, did the Maliwan takedown event where it scales to you. I haven't even tried it solo yet. I'm a naughty human being. I was so focused on just getting through True Vault Hunter mode, finishing that up, and then doing all these rare spawns, you know, trying to get any guns, shields, etc. that I'm missing, that I want, that I totally forgot to go in and give it a shot. Man.
Yeah. What I found was it was easy peasy, like lemon squeezy all the way up to Wotan, and he still hit like a frickin' mech truck. And I went, oh, that's not fair, because it's just me and Mr. Beef. And for some reason, I think Wotan's got like an aura around him when he's in his shields at all, because anytime he runs in, he's just instantly down. So I have nobody to take fire for me, so I'm just running, getting shot.
Go down, trying to scramble, but then of course the meter gets faster and faster, and all of a sudden you die instantly, and then that's game over.
Yeah.
Well, that's discouraging, but I feel like I should still give it a shot anyway.
Yeah,
just out of, just for poops and giggles, you know.
And it's still fun to run, just mad scramble through that whole front half through the mini bosses. Feel like a super badass, and then just, ow. Okay, I'm not really.
Exactly. And speaking of ow. What the hell happened to the Borderlands show and the CoOp Couch this freaking time around? Holy moly, everybody!
I mean, I swear to God, they said it was going to be January 22nd was the next Borderlands show, because it was on the calendar. It's on the calendar, and there's nothing I hate more than when somebody puts something on a calendar and doesn't deliver. What are you doing, Greg Miller, Fran Mirabella III? I don't even like you guys anyway, but you got to be here in front of my face talking to me about stuff.
You know what I mean? Like, the CoOp Couch is supposed to be there. All it takes is a couple employees. Get on there, get on that couch. Get on that proverbial couch and play some video games and have some fun. That's all we want. Didn't happen. Borderlands show. Didn't happen. What's going on? I haven't heard the word. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm just sad because I feel like this all, you know, back in the day when Battleborn was our thing and we were rolling and having a great time, they were like, well, we're going to do these streams, and everyone's podcasts were popping up and shows, and then dead. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? I mean, is it just because the views aren't so high because we're not seeing like the crazy Fortnite-like numbers that they're kind of backing out of it or reassessing what's going on with it? Who knows?
And I mean, I feel like the CoOp Couch I get at least a little bit because it is at Gearbox HQ, and they do have like the really nice setup. So, you know, they've got the guy managing the stream. They've got all the cameras and microphones and all the other tweakity-tweak stuff behind the scenes too. But you could take that down to like a way more casual. I mean, you know me, I'm the king of casual streams. You could take it down way more casual and just, we have one camera, here's the two. You put headsets on, make it super easy. Just boom, here you go, hit go. Because, I mean, we've talked about it for years upon years. If they just do casual streams and hang out and just be Gearbox, be the cool people, be the cool, fun, genuine people we know that they all are, I would watch it. I'd watch it all the time. People would love it. You'd get the haters at first, but then they just fall off because this isn't that stream for you. So I don't know.
Well, all I'm saying is that hopefully they return. Hopefully it's just some kind of fluke, you know, some mismanagement of time and or effort or on somebody's part. Because I'd like to see them both come back. And hopefully we haven't heard the end of it. Because that's where we get some of the big reveals, right? You know, the Borderlands show's like, hey,
absolutely.
We've procured this crazy cool event that's going to happen. And maybe that's what's happening. Maybe they're waiting for the next big nugget. So they're kind of like trying to push it off so they can announce the next holiday or DLC. Most likely holiday if I had to guess. But
I mean, that's what we That's what we were conjecturing about, so that we would be able to talk about this week.
Exactly. It didn't happen.
I mean, I would really hope that like the next holiday would be some kind of, Valentine's Day thing, and you could push that off a little bit.
Yeah.
You could do that like the week before. It's fine.
Because you're going to tie it in with St. Patty's Day like they did last time in Borderlands 2.
Yeah, true.
So if you mix it, you can do it a little bit late, and it's not that big of a deal because it kind of just encompasses both of them.
So, I don't know. I hope it comes back. I hope it's something small, or even just a little small DLC that's coming soon, because I'm ready for more. We all beat the Molly 1 takedown before the scaling went out. We've all beaten the DLCs now. I'm ready for the next piece. I want that next piece of new content.
I am ready for the next piece. But in the meantime, they did some patches, Matt. A little bit of fixes, a little bit of things. You said something about gamma rays. I was like, what's the Hulk intrusion of the game? I don't understand what's going on, man. What is this?
Finally, after only doing stuff with Fade Away and Rack Attack, the poop skills that only like Poop Flax play, they finally got my Gamma Burst anointed rolls buffed up super high. They were capping out at 65%. Now it's 150%. But now it's 115% Gamma Burst radiation damage on those anointed rolls. I can't wait to get one. I can't wait to get some actual good anointed piece that's actually going to go in my kit and actually play and be like, look, they did something for me for once. They were listening again, because last week I called them out. I said, where's my Gamma Burst?
Where's my Gamma Burst?
They said, here's your Gamma Burst. And I said, thank you. I appreciate it. That's very nice of you.
It's beautiful. It puts a smile on my face when they listen to the show, when they add when whatever it is we was crying about.
But other than that, I was gonna say, but other than that, nothing in the hot fixes for me, because I saw Flak and Gamma, and I ignored everything else. I'm not gonna lie.
It admittedly was a pretty small patch update here. There was some perceived gameplay malfunctions going on. They went ahead and fixed some of that up, and then they changed some Varkid, badass Varkid. Somehow, what it looks like is not right. I don't know. I haven't encountered this problem. But for those of you who haven't reported it, apparently they fixed it. And pretty much beyond that, that's it. That was it for the week, I think.
Yeah, true. I will say, just since we mentioned a gameplay hang-up, I did encounter, and I know they're listening to the show right now, I did encounter one myself right when I was farming, like an hour before the show. I loaded in for the first time of the day. You get I want to go in the menu and fast travel right away because I left off somewhere I'm not supposed to be. It does the can't open the echo thing for a little bit. Fine. I finally got the menu up, changed screens to the left, and it just totally froze and hanged the whole game. And I just went, oh man, I just loaded in like 5 minutes with Claptrap going across the screen. So it was a bummer, but
another issue.
But it popped back up as soon as I got back in. Just had to close it, get in, good to go. But hey, there's another one to add to the list, I guess. Indeed. Hopefully they fix that one too, Matt. But we did forget one thing from the patch notes that kind of was the big deal, probably the primary one, and honestly, was that they increased the drop rates in the proving grounds out of the chest. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They said that they noticed that with a lot more people doing it, looking for those, wonderful weapons, etc., because of the designated drops. They've noticed that it's not dropping to the extent that they wanted it to, so that's up. Which I did not cross my mind, because I have yet to do all of those, because we did a couple of them one night and said, we'll do that the next time we play, and we did not. So I have yet to finish those and get the trophy for that. So that's something we need to put back on our radar and get done. I definitely agree. We do need to go back and do it. I know I had done like 2 or 3 before we did that run, and it was I didn't get any drops from anything, bosses or chests. So I'm glad to hear that at least the chest got turned up, because I would kill the boss, get like a blue and a perp, and then I would go to the chests and greens and blues. So hopefully my luck turns up. And speaking of increasing the loot from things, they also did sneak in like a little, not in the hot fixes, but a little bitty patch for this Farm and Frenzy event that we're in right now, saying that they noticed that the drops for some of the bosses or some of the, the rare spawns weren't actually tweaked up the way they were supposed to be. So they did adjust. I think it was about 10 of them, maybe 8 to 10, somewhere around there. I don't have the list in front of me, but they did do that. And hey, I was farming
old Eldricone Jr., and I was about to come on this podcast and get really mad and say, they need to up his too, because I ain't get shit. But he finally did drop me a legendary shield that actually went on my body immediately after I got it, farming him on Mayhem 4, and I went, hey, cool. Now I actually feel pretty cool. And then I went and fought Rackman, and he's annoying as hell. So
yeah, well, I hate anything to do with the damn racks flying around. It just drives me nuts. And another sneaky poo thing they did, before we forget, is they had some shift maintenance the other day.
Oh, yeah.
So that popped up, threw everything under the bus for about 6 hours or so. The hotfixes didn't apply, the frenzy event didn't apply, the Malawan takedown adjustment didn't apply. So if you want to do any of those things, you couldn't. You had to wait until the shift came back up. Now, was this just standard shift maintenance, or is there some kind of weird, crazy background, something going on that they're trying to adjust for this shift thing? You know, I don't know. We told you guys about that rumors, you know.
We're going full on conjecturepotamus for like a quick
for half a second. Remember old Warren After had that video where he posted that the upcoming soon was supposed to be the microtransaction, the seasons, or as you will, were supposed to be introduced into Borderlands, which of course would include those microtransactions, things you could buy, get, etc., 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 for a certain price. Obviously, that would require the shift. Yeah, whole thing to be updated and changed and modified to accommodate that. Maybe this was it. Maybe that was them in the background getting things around.
You know, that was the very first thing I thought about, and then I immediately forgot about it when we started doing the show, because when I was stroking my chin and thinking right there, I went, bam, they're going to surprise release 1v1. They got to integrate shift to that. That's the pie in the sky, actual Conjectureland thing, but Realism Rock break in for me. The only other thing I was thinking of is maybe they're starting to pull the roots from Battleborn, little bits and pieces here and there. Or if they are going into
that's possible too, you're right.
Adjust something else, start taking out the around the edges type stuff before the big exodus does happen.
That's true. That might just be a cleanup, getting things prepped for that. Could be any number of things. So really, who the hell knows? It could simply just be a maintenance. They do it on occasion, so there could be literally nothing going on with it. But it's fun to just think about it for half a second. And of course, before we get off, it ain't a big deal, but we'll say farewell Morning After Kill. You know, we've used him in some of our rumors and stuff over the years, but he's officially left the Gearbox community. He is on to different, brighter, and weirder things, whatever. Hey, farewell, good sir. It was nice listening to you once in a while and getting some tasty little, nuggets info, sometimes skeptical, sometimes not. Who knows? I just will say farewell, good luck to you, since I did use you on occasion throughout the years.
Maybe you'll start doing like Destiny 2 stuff and you can watch him for that.
No, I doubt that.
So from a sad goodbye to a glorious hello, we got a little sneak peek at an upcoming Gearbox Publishing related title called Godfall, didn't we, Eric?
Indeed we did. Apparently some Reddit user who's notorious for all sorts of cool, crazy, weird things, getting things out there, went ahead and leaked a Godfall video. That was actual gameplay. Now, he put it out there. Everybody started watching it and checking it out. I thought it was really cool. A lot of people thought it was cool. Some people were saying, oh, the graphics look like, PS4 Pro, basically, da-da-da-da. Then Randy Pitchford and Godfall themselves came out and were like, hey, yeah, this is real footage, but it's from like early 2019, like the very beginning. They were showing it to some board members or whatever, trying to get things put together. And that was the demo they had for them. But the game, of course, with all this extra time, plus so much more time they're going to have between now and the release of PlayStation 5, which is suspected to be in the November timeframe, it's going to look way different. But even with that being said, I watched it. It looked great. I thought it was cool looking. It definitely has potential. I'm already in love with the member who had like the pole arm type weapon. I love those weapons. So I was like, oh yeah, whatever he or she has, that's what I'm going to be rolling with. Those are the weapons I'll be chasing after in this game once I get my hands on it. So thumbs up from me. It was really cool to see something on it. Any info we get is good info in my book. And then of course, with it being an older gameplay, I just feel like if you're a gamer that's been paying any attention lately and you see this kind of stuff and you start judging just off of that, you're a moron, because that stuff's it's meant for like board members. It's meant for CEOs. It's meant for the eyes of investors and things. It's not meant for you. You're not supposed to see this old, haggard, put-together crap. It's
No, Eric, man, if I get in a bash video, if I get in a hot take, it's going to give me my clicks right now. And then when they show off something more polished later, I can be like, oh, my God, you'll never believe what Godfall looks like now. Click on the link. Click on the link. Oh, my God, get it.
Yeah, with a crazy, like, emoji.
Like a picture of him going like, ooh. And like link clicking fingers all around
the fingers going everywhere. Yeah, it's true. That's what happens. That's the reality of it. I will say, go check it out for yourself. I think it's good footage. I think it's pretty neat. It's real short, very, very, very short, but it's neat and fun and something cool to keep me just wondering what the hell this Godfall is going to be all about. Whether they'll get the loot right, I don't know. We're going to find out.
We are going to find out. I didn't have a chance to look at it before the show. I did just try and get it on my phone real quick and had like a little hot 5-second thing. And then my phone went, hey, you're touching me in the wrong places. And I'm closing windows and opening windows. And I went, okay, I tried. But hey, the 5 seconds that I saw, I mean, it looked like a cool, shiny action game. How could you hate it? It looks fine to me.
Exactly. People's crazy. That's all it is to it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people also liked it. So whatever. I won't pass judgment.
Yeah.
Humanity
I won't pass
can be
judgment until I have it in my hot little hands, and then I'll be judging it all up and down the street. Click
And as we
now
should
from
be.
a hot take.
Ooh, you want our review? You gotta give us $5. Pew 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 pew.
Paywall, join our Discord. Get in the big things.
Oh, goodness gracious.
But hey, man, speaking of hot links to click, here's a link I thought was a cold link. Borderlands tweeted something out, and they were like, hey, check out this thing about Typhon DeLeon from our homeboy Sam Winkler. And I went, didn't I just see that like 3 months ago? Like right after they dropped Borderlands 3, they dropped a thing all about him. And I went, oh, well, this is probably that same thing. And I walked away. And then I came back earlier today and I went, let me click on that, see what it is. And it was all brand new stuff. And I couldn't believe it. And my eyes like burst into like stars and like rainbows shot out. And I was very happy. There's all kinds of cool stuff in this article. What was pretty cool for you, Mr. Eric?
Well, there's one key piece that I got out of this, all right? They talked about, what Typhon DeLeon was doing, what he was thinking, why he made his children stay there, and then, of course, his mindset afterwards. But something that got me going was they were like, hey, what's the deal with the Promethea vault? Okay,
Yeah.
If he went in there, how did he get in there and do all the things he did and not kill the vault monster, whereas you went in and finished it? And they went, hey, well, okay. Because that's not the vault he went into. He went into a completely different vault, which the players, of course, haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh. Well, we know there's multiple vaults on different planets. It's not, something that's impossible. But then I went, oh, well, different vaults that we haven't seen yet. Huh. And then also, he was in there doing something with vaults. Obviously, we've known his Tales and other stuff. Well, why can't we do something with Typhon DeLeon? And then I went, well, they already said they're not going to do multiple characters. They're not going to be making a whole bunch of side characters for you to play with anymore. And I went, well, they did this game called Bulletstorm. And then they were like, hey, let's put Duke Nukem in it, but make it super weird because Duke Nukem's supposed to be he's just playing, they're acting like he's who he's supposed to be, but Duke's like, what are you talking about? What if Typhon tells a story and you're your character, but everyone's pretending you're Typhon and Typhon's in your ear going, just play along.
Well, or you go the opposite route and now you are Typhon, but you have, whichever skills it is. And because, your Vault Hunter doesn't talk a whole lot. You could record Typhon going, hey, I'm just a little turd farmer guy, or, I'm used to all this vault stuff. Oh, yeah, you lost a friend? I've been through that, buddy.
Exactly. But you could have a DLC that's dedicated to telling the tales of the vaults that Typhon DeLeon opened while he was in his, youth or prime, running around, of course, using the mechanics of your own character and, still getting you your badass points, still allowing you to get your point, all your level ups, et cetera, but giving you the Typhon DeLeon voiceovers in whichever way you want, either as him telling you the tale and telling you to play along because everyone thinks you're Typhon, but you're really just you, but, whatever. Or as you said, go all in and pretend it's Typhon, but you're just in, Iron Bear or you got your pet or whatever the case is. Either of those options, I think, would be a whole bunch of fun, and you just ham it up. Backham it up, baby. You know what I mean?
That's right,
just
you backham it up.
Just backham it up. Make it as dumb and silly and ridiculous as possible. And that's a fun DLC in my eyes. Fun, unique, and as we talked about last week, something that's not just your typical go in and you get your 4 quests, go, kill these things, go grab this thing, come back to the guy, da-da-da-da.
Yeah, you could do so many cool things. Man, now that I'm thinking about it, just like you said, play through the earlier, or just play through the earlier life of Typhon. Maybe like, Tannis found like a hollow projector or whatever. So your character is going into this area. It would be like the Claptastic Voyage DLC. Mm-hmm. You're going into Typhon's past. Everyone's treating you as Typhon, even though you are Amara or Flack or whatever.
Exactly.
And you would go through his life or some adventure, not even one we've heard about, just some wacky adventure he went on. God, Jesus, Pete's, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So that's where my mind went with it. And I was just like, okay, yeah, this has to happen. There's no way they're going to tell all these tales, have all these fake skill trees for him put up there, and not do anything with it.
And that's the part that hooked me. Like, I was reading through it, and I was like, okay, I like story, I like backstory, I like hearing, their interpretations of what could have gone on after the fact, blah, blah, blah. But then they went, hey, what skill trees would Typhon have? And then they put up badass abilities and skills, and it made me so happy, and it made me so sad at the same time, because I want to play as Typhon de Leon. The skill where he gets his laser whip in his offhand, and you can bind enemies, and then also the tertiary passive that came with where you could pull them in. Mm-hmm. That's Bulletstorm right there. If I could play Bulletstorm in Borderlands, I would be going nuts. And then the skill tree that they made up for his Vercuvian backham, where you equip the ham, but then as an alternate fire, you can also snack on it and just constantly regenerate health and not go beneath 1. That put me in mind of like so many cool boss encounters you could do. Here's a boss, here's like a crazy raid boss that when he slams down, you're instantly down. Okay, well, just snacking on the backham, boom, he hits me. I just go to 1 HP and then I stop snacking. And then I run around and throw my whip around and do my Typhon de Leon thing. Oh, I just wanted to play as Typhon so bad. I just wanted to see what other kind of abilities he would have down these crazy skill trees. All about his ham, backhamming it up. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was super cool. I thought maybe they'd give like a quick snippet, like 1, 2 or 3 examples, but no, they went through and gave you the whole gamut, just going nuts with it. And I went, wow, okay, I'm down with this. And like you said, when they got to the Vercuvian backham tree, and I was like, oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, because I always got my backham on me. Because, how could you not?
Well, how you could not is by not getting any drops of Vercuvian backhand from nobody. But it just made me so happy and excited. And that's something that, we've kind of been shot down on is, no new skill trees, no new characters is kind of what the mandate has been. And I want, just getting this taste of it makes me want more of it. Makes me want a new character. Makes me want, I don't know about new skill trees, but like expanded options for skill trees, secondary capstone things. It makes me want to dig my hands into a skill tree again. We haven't had a chance to do that, especially on the podcast, in months and months and months.
I would like them, like you said, you wouldn't mind if they just expanded. I would like an actual new skill tree. I think that's going to happen. I think you're going to get a 4th one. And then even when they do that, they'll probably change and or expand upon the existing skill trees. Yeah. So I'm hoping that's the case, because like you, it'll be great just to see some fresh new stuff going on and just dig in, just wipe the slate clean, rebuild, go in there and see what's hot, see what's not, see what works and what doesn't.
Or even just do like I always do. I'm like, I have this perfect build. What are the side stuff in this other skill tree that I can slowly work towards
Make it
that
even
would
better.
synergize with this? Because, they're so good about it. My 2 skill trees synergize with each other perfectly. I'm sure all the other characters, well, we went through it. The other characters have stuff that synergizes well too. So if they're putting in another one, it's just going to have little synergistic tentacles just all over the place. Oh, I love that stuff.
I love that stuff too. And, between the fact that I just did the True Vulner mode again and got through the whole story, and we've talked about it briefly before, and we're like, Lilith just took off with the moon. Remember all those wonderful characters we knew on the moon? We're going to have to hear from them again. they're searching for her and the moon, obviously. So that's going to be a thing. And then upcoming soon, we got the DLC coming. So between just the natural progression of the story, what could happen on the moon, or, maybe this, like we were talking about, some kind of weird, wacky thing. Like, where do you think we're going with the next big DLC? We know Gearbox has been hiring crazy. We know they've been wanting all sorts of people on board. I'm sure they're concocting up some new games, existing games, probably more people to work on this and this title to keep the DLCs going. Where are we heading? Do you think we're going to get something? We just had Mad Moxie's just a little bit ago, and that was just kind of like a side fun little adventure, but it had nothing to do with the main story. Do you think they're going to take a big one coming up and go ape crap with it? Or do you think we're going to see another side story, maybe like the Typhon D-Lan sort of thing? I'm just kind of curious on where they're going to go with this next one.
I think because since they went so hard with story and, the whole story campaign in the base game here, I feel like the next big, like, story-based DLC has to be the last one. Like, you have to cap it off with a giant big adventure. We're going to the moon. We're going to all these new environments, running into all the old characters. So I feel like next up, since you did a traditional side story, I think maybe this is where you throw in a holodeck experience, some kind of out of this world crazy one, or maybe something that's like totally vehicle based, or, more vehicle based, like Mr. Torg's was kind of. You're always driving the vehicles all around through there.
And that's what I suspect. I think they kind of threw Torg in a little bit there with the Mad Moxie's event, and I think it was kind of get your mind back on them, because I think they're going to go with a really out of this bonanza world kind of game show thing, as Torg is known for, and we're going to go into that as our next one.
Yeah, that sounds good, because especially he could even take over Carnivora again and make it Torgivora or something. I mean, I would expect them to make it all different, not just the same maps and stuff. But I like that, like, here's a big themed thing, whole themed area. If they can do that with Mr. Torg and make it even crazier, just explosions everywhere, all the time.
It'd be a ton of fun. Yeah. I would enjoy the hell out of it. My only worry, though, and this is why I brought this up in general, is just because, we've talked about, they've come up, well, the viewership on Twitch isn't as high as they were hoping, blah, 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 blah. The retaining factor here is getting lower. Would it be better for them to do a huge DLC with all the actual story movement forward, and then maybe the extra skill trees, the big one, the big mamma jamma now, to get the people back in, and then have a plan to quickly in succession come out with really fun DLCs, indoor holiday events, to try to keep them back on board again? Do you think that would even work at this point? You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like they're trying to. I feel like there's something going on behind the scenes where they're kind of trying to figure out what they want to do to get everybody back on board, playing and going nuts about Borderlands again, and keep it on the people's minds.
I feel like you're right, just in the sense that when they were dropping stuff, and even up until this latest DLC, it seems like stuff was like popping. Like, at least regularly. We were seeing people over here. We were seeing them over there. There was a week or two that was quiet. But, and granted, it has been the holidays. Both, Christmas time and New Year's time. But I feel like since they are so quiet, like, the only things we see are the Golden Key tweets and, articles here and there, not like big time stuff. Maybe they are kind of in that where we go, at least like a where are we going next type of mood. So I feel like if viewership and, player drop off is a concern, the best way to do it is a big DLC with a skill tree or something big that kind of changes the game and gets people to sink their teeth back into it. But I feel like after that's done, where do you go from there?
Yeah, how do you keep them on regardless?
Yeah, because you already had this big, great game with all this cool stuff that people just devoured. Well, here's the second half of here's the second course of dinner. People are just going to devour it again.
And then take off again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I think honestly there's really no way to get a huge mindset of people back constantly, because it's a single player game adventure, and people don't typically watch that over and over and over and over and over and over forever anymore, because there's so many games out there, the Call of Duties, the Fortnites, the Escape from Tarkov now everybody's watching. Just all these, hey, I'm with 100 random players and we're shooting each other, until one person's alive.
Well, and I think more than that, if people are into looter shooters, there are other options out there. I'm not saying anything's better than Borderlands or anything like that, but, I feel like for the Borderlands 2 run, if you wanted a looter shooter, that was still your best option. That was still the encapsulation of that genre, because they made it, obviously. But now you got Destinies, you got Divisions, you got all these other games I don't even know about.
Diablo, of course, still out there.
Classic Diablo. You got all kinds of loot games, shoot games, and shoot and loot games that I feel like I don't know, I'm not the big Twitch guy, so, the whole viewership drop-off thing it's woof, kind of sails through
over
my
your
head.
Barely there, yeah.
But at the same time, I can understand if, people want to watch the latest hot looter shooter, well, now there are options. It's not just Borderlands. So, I don't know.
I feel like if they want to get back on the mindset of everybody and keep the Twitch views going nuts, they'd have to start doing, like we talked about before, events constantly. Every week would have to be some kind of cool, fanciful event that not just benefits the player in getting drops or whatever, but involves the players. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? So it'd have to be something that, oh hell, you said it right earlier today when we were talking off air. You'd have to say, in this wacky land now, all the enemies are ratchets. Ratchets are going to pour from the skies for the next 5-6 days. And so now when you're playing the game, ratchets are everywhere. They're jumping out of holes. They're falling from the clouds. And just changes the way you're playing, changes how you're doing anything. But on the downside, that might piss streamers and the people off who are just trying to farm and do their typical, because now they're dealing with 5,000 ratchets on top of farming for whatever it is they're trying to do. So they just stop playing until the event's over because they don't want to deal with it. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that won't work it out.
See, that would make me watch it. I'm going to try and farm for this dumb grenade, but I got ratchets all over me. Oh, ratchets everywhere. That would make me go in their EchoCast and put bomb llamas in there, too. That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah, until the rack one came, and then you'd never play.
I would never play that.
Imagine racks just black in the sky.
Well, hey,
flying around hitting you.
You know what? I still got that Atlas gun. I shoot my tracker grenade in the sky, ping, and I just stand and shoot.
Just go nuts.
Just stand and shoot.
I like it. So I don't know. We're just two schmups. I don't know how to get their views up. I don't know which way they're going to do the DLCs. I think you're probably right. Ultimately, I think they'll probably do a smaller one, a wackier, fun one again before they do their big meat and taters kind of drop.
Well, something I would like is, well, I mean, we've mentioned before, since, sparking in my brain how to get people to play through it more often and get to watch it more often. An easy one is the story operations for Battleborn. We talked about it before. Have a shorter DLC with different dialogue each playthrough. Maybe even different boss enemies that pop out. Oh man, this time it's a big Maliwan wave. This time it's a big, COV wave. This time it's monsters. This time it's robots. This time it's this. This time it's that. That would get me to play through it more because, oh man, I'm really hoping it's the Maliwan wave because I love fighting Maliwan enemies. Oh, it's the COV wave. Okay, well, I'll try for it next time. Maybe have each wave have different drops. This wave will drop this. Just something that, or even, if they're doing a shorter, wackier DLC, have options to, split off certain ways and get certain dialogue.
And that's something they haven't done, which is alternate paths.
Let's say you can either go up on the highway where you're going to fight a lot of Maliwan dudes and get maybe Lorelei is leading you, or you can go down in the pit and you're going to fight a bunch of monsters and Mr. Torque's going to be there blowing stuff up crazy. I mean, it doesn't have to be huge differences, but if there's
a few.
Yeah, but I mean, because like we've talked about with the Handsome Jack DLC, I enjoyed it, but if I play through it again, it's going to be the same thing. If you give me a DLC with 3 different paths to take, I'm going to play through it 3 different times, at least.
And that was 2 more times than you were going to originally. So
exactly.
That's just going to be the same with all the streamers, with everybody else just playing in general. Mm-hmm. You're going to get a whole bunch more participation before the drop-off happens again. And then, of course, by then, you're hoping maybe if it takes another couple weeks, you can have another holiday event pop in or getting rounded up for the next event and keep people kind of just coasting on that whole wave, and they never quite get off of it. Hence, you get your numbers, everything's okay. It's a lot of work, though. It's a lot of work, man.
I mean, it's all a lot of work, and we appreciate the work they've put into it right now.
Oh yeah.
But I just feel like well, I've mentioned it on the podcast before, more variety in the different runs. Because I'm not a farmer. I'm not a guy who runs through stuff a million times through the same content over and over. If you give me ways to experience variety, where it's enemy variety, loot variety, different paths,
story, dialogue,
different audio, anything, I'll be eating that up until I've eaten it all up. And then, well, I'll be ready for the next piece of content.
You know what? I agree with that, Matt. What do you guys think? Do you all think we're crazy? Do you think the next DLC is going to be bombastic? Do you think it's going to be simple and fun? Do you think they're going to listen to this show and go, hey, everybody, back to the drawing board. Dun, 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 dun. Delayed, because Third Shift has an idea and we're going to implement it. That's pretty arrogant to think that we have an idea that they haven't already thought of. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe our Valentine's DLC thing, they were like, we weren't even going to do one. Now we got to do one because Third Shift says, oh, geez, those rascals up there in Michigan, gosh, they sure know what buttons to push.
I hope that's the case.
But let us know what you guys think via email info@thirdshift.me, tweet at us at thirdshiftme, and find us on Facebook under Third Shift.
Indeed you can. And I'm going to do a Billie Eilish impersonation for our Patreon today.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I wish that you would all just give us $1 or $2, maybe $3 or $4 at Patreon today. I treat it like a tip jar. I hope you aren't real happy. Or maybe... Okay, I can't do it, damn it.
You sound exactly like somebody, but I can't put my finger on it. Like some like late 90s singer. I'm like, oh, no. I can't think of who it is.
I don't know. Hey, I'm just trying to be Billy. I'm trying to be Billy. All right. Billy's hot right now. Everybody likes Billy. And so I was like, well, maybe if I sound like Billy, people be like, oh, I got to throw Third Shift some money. Pachoo, pachoo. So if I suckered y'all into throwing us a buck or two, that'd be great. Over there on the wonderful Patreon, treat it just like a tip jar. Y'all know the deal. I tried to give you some Billie Eilish, but Matt kept giving me some looks. I couldn't hold it on. I should have just looked away. I shouldn't have looked at him and just did the whole thing. That's okay.
I
Y'all
didn't even give the looks. I gave you the I'm thinking about something look.
Like something was happening. Something deep was happening. I was like, oh,
it was the who is he starting to sound like? Because there's somebody, all of you write in and tell me who he did sound like. Because I know there's an artist that I know, so it wasn't Billie Eilish. I mean, you might have sounded great like her, but I don't know her.
You wouldn't know. You haven't heard her.
Exactly. So. You sound like somebody, though, that I do know. So if you know who I know, let me know who Eric was.
And please consider heading on over there. And if you can't, you know the rigmarole. You can support us in all those other ways, like the 5-star ratings on the iTunes, which we've been getting so many of, and I appreciate every single one of them. Also, hey, mailbag questions, things like that, topics of discussion you want us to talk about. You are the listener. You can go, hey, I really want to hear about this particular thing. And we'll go, hey, as long as it's reasonable and within the, constraints of what we're trying to do, we'll talk about it. So consider those things.
And consider tuning in to our very next episode, because this podcast drops every Friday. It will be back in your ear holes on the 31st of January for our very next episode. And you can find that episode on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Podbean, on Spotify, and on YouTube. As I always say, if you like what we're doing and you'd like to help us out, please give us a like, a rating, a review, a comment, a subscription, any kind of good thing on any one of those good services. Because it does help us out, and we really do appreciate it.
We do. Those 5-star ratings really make us happy. And then we'll have so much fun with them, and we'll tell you all about them, and then we'll be so sad or mad because you'll give us a 1 or 5 or maybe a 4. And but either way, we love the interaction, so aha, we won. Woo woo.
There's nothing else to say, but don't forget to say...